My dad works in B2B marketing. He came by my school for career day and said he was a big ROAS man. Then he told everyone how much he loved calculating his return on ad spend. My friends still laugh at me to this day.
Not everyone gets B2B, but with LinkedIn, you'll be able to reach people who do. Get a $100 credit on your next ad campaign. Go to linkedin.com/results to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply. LinkedIn, the place to be, to be.
Other realtors have vacant homes. At Pest Properties, ours come occupied and ready to invest. Looking to relocate your larvae? Try the Petrie residence. This rustic home features thousands of crevices to squirm in through, vaulted ceilings for our wall crawlers, and an outdoor bird bath teeming with mosquito eggs. So kick up your 6 hairy legs and sign today.
Before pests move in, Terminix it. With over 95 years of experience, we'll help keep your home off the pest market. Visit Terminix.com today.
Hey, Fidelity. What's it cost to invest with the Fidelity app?
Start with as little as $1 with no account fees or trade commissions on U.S. stocks and ETFs.
That's music to my ears.
I can only talk.
Investing involves risk, including risk of loss. Zero account fees apply to retail brokerage accounts only. Sell order assessment fee not included. A limited number of ETFs are subject to a transaction-based service fee of $100. See full list at fidelity.com/commissions. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE, SIPC.
Yeah, I thought the players are brilliant. Look, it's all on the players. Look, Max, anyone, I just said to the players, any of them in there that doubted our first 3 league performances, or anybody that has watched us doubts our 3 performances, I've not lied when I've stood in front of the camera. I'm always honest, 100% honest. And we've been excellent. We deserve more points than we got, but when you've only got 1 point after 3 games, there becomes a little bit of pressure in your next home game. And today, that's one of the best performances ground would have seen for a long, long time. The atmosphere was outstanding at times. The performance of the players without the ball was excellent, and with the ball, Jesus, the flair we played with, the excitement we played with, the quality we played with, the chances we created, what we limited them to. Look, it's a really good performance.
Hello, dear listeners. Welcome to Achtung Millwall. My name is Nick Hart. You're listening to the number 1 Millwall podcast, and that was, of course, head coach Neil Harris, I should call him, speaking in the aftermath of Saturday's excellent 3-0 win over Sheffield Wednesday. Goals from new boy Josh Coburn, Duncan Watmore and Jake Cooper late, sealing the Owls' fate. An excellent show, as Neil said, though. I can't argue with a single word that he said. I've said a few times on these shows that in our losing performances versus Watford and then at Bristol, we actually didn't play badly in patches. Neil Harris, speaking to the BBC after Saturday's game, refers to cutting out of individual errors. We're obviously a lot stronger now that Jeff Tanganga's back at the back, but there is that sense that we've shored up a wobbly start to the season. I thought Saturday's game, as Neil said there, was certainly one of the best we've seen for a long while at the Den. Sheffield Wednesday weren't great, that's for sure, but I don't think they were that as poor as some of the other teams we've seen on occasions in the past where we've struggled to get past them. So, as a first game, I think speaking to Michael Avery on the first show of the weekend that I did the other day, he referred to it as a statement win, and I'm increasingly inclined to agree with Michael, because this is the first game of the post-Zian Fleming era, dear listeners. Our record sale has gone to Burnley for $7 million eventually, once that deal unfolds and completes. So this could have been, a bad day at the office. There could have been a sense of a downbeat sense of loss, and as it is, there is none of that. So really excellent win on Saturday. Let's go through the lineup just before we get into the meat of today's, the first part of today's voicemail show. I'm going to be speaking to Merv later, which I'll do as a second show. So I've split the voicemails received into 2 shows. This will be the first part. But the lineup Saturday, Lucas Jensen in goal. A good day. 1 save he had to make that I remember. And as I think Neil Harris said, that was cleanly made. Backline, Joe Bryan, Jake Cooper, goal scorer. Jeff Tanganga, rock solid anchor. And Ryan Leonard, another decent performance by Ryan. Midfield 2, Jules Saville, Casper Denor. Good performances by both. And then the kind of attacking three, Duncan Watmore, excellent performance by Duncan Watmore. We've mentioned him a few times on these shows. George Honeyman, ever willing, ever industrious, and the real quality turn of our squad at the moment. Somebody posted on Twitter, dear listeners, that you should appreciate what you're seeing with Romain Esse, because he is I think they called him a generational talent, and I won't argue with that choice of words. He is a real standout player, one of the real talents that we've uncovered at the Den, in my opinion. I know he's only young, I know he's got a long way to go, but Saturday's performance and what we've seen since the start of this season are demonstrating an increasing maturity from Romain Esse. I would see him as a certainly Premier League level talent. Let's hope we can hang on to him for long enough for his presence in our side. He's one of our own. Let's hope he can influence our club and help us to progress up the table. But he is that good, in my opinion. Great performance, Romain Esse Saturday. And then up front, the new boy, the Lone Star, Josh Coburn, who gave us some very welcome attacking threat up front, something that's been, we've been screaming out for such a long time. And it's been really refreshing to see it. He was replaced late in the game by Macaulay Langstaff. Esse was replaced by Femi Aziz on 85. Idemo came in for George Honeyman and on 90 plus 2. And then new boy also Ryan Wintle came in on 85 for Duncan Watmore. But overall, that was a very solid win over a poor but not that poor Sheffield Wednesday side. So kudos all round to the whole squad. Kudos to the fans. It was a great atmosphere. Have a listen to the in-game commentary that I did in the previous show. As I've said already, this is the first part of a voicemail show. I've split the voice notes into two sections. I'll be talking to Merv Payne later on this afternoon, but I thought I'd put this out as a little hors d'oeuvre, a tasty, an amuse-bouche for you, dear listeners. So we're going to begin our sequence of voice notes, which is always one of my favourite shows. We're going to begin it now. We're going to go with Alex Van Dyke. Let's listen to Alex.
Afternoon, Nick. Hope you're all right. Alex from Block 38. The day after the Sheffield Wednesday win, superb performance that was down the Den on Saturday. They played really well first half, considering what happened Tuesday and how some of them players played. It was a pleasant experience. Busy day. The military veterans had a game in the morning. We won that 6-2. The RBL had a little coffee morning in the Lions Centre, and then we're waiting for the game. We played really well first half. I thought first 10 minutes was a little bit shaky. The referee, wow. I don't like swearing on these, but that was shocking. The referee was terrible the first half. Some of the decisions, but we just get on with it. And then 0-0 came at half time, but we were playing well. I was confident we was going to win the way it was going. I didn't think we'd win 3-0, but I think maybe us veterans having our little lap of honour, lifting the RBL trophy, maybe egged them on a little bit. But yeah, second half, called to CPL, and straight away, Honeyman and Watmore played really, really well. Casper Denoy yesterday, superb. I think I see some stats where it was like 100% tackles won, dispossessed 0, like won all his aerials, wasn't dribbled, like didn't get dribbled past once. Like it was absolutely superb. And then good link-up play for the first goal. Colburn with a tap in, went a little bit high. I did think at 1 second he skied it in the roof of net. It went 1-0, and they carry on. And then good finish from Watmore in the box, just on his toes, and he tapped that in. And we was pretty comfortable. They didn't really have a lot. They made a couple of substitutions, I think, after the first goal, and they didn't change the game at all. It was all us. And then the icing on the cake, Cooper with a third goal. It bounced over the line, but then Longstaff was there to make sure that went in. It was nice. It was good to see that sort of reaction from him, just to make sure it went in, although it was Cooper's goal. I think they played really well. Coburn looks very tasty. If he plays like that most of the games, then I think there's a very good player there. We'll see what happens with the other signings. I'm not too sure on a fee. I think it was €3 million for that Serbian, but now I've read a tweet this morning that he's out for 10 to 12 weeks, injured already. Again, so Millwall. So all in all, a good day. A very good day down at Den yesterday. Very comfortable. Let's hope this is the start, eh? Let's hope this is the start of Harris has maybe got some players in that he wants. He can mould and shape them. Remember, there was a lot of, before the game, a lot of, we've signed all these strikers and he's playing one up top again. But they linked up really, really well yesterday. Watmore, Honeyman, Casper was all over the pitch. Saville was just being Saville. He was doing really well, getting stuck in. And gave the crowd something to shout about. Let's hope this is it. There's back-to-back clean sheets for Jensen, so hopefully that'll do his bit of confidence and we can just build from here. It's a shame we can't play today because they're playing really well. I'll catch you next time, Nick. Take care.
Huge thank you, Alex, and well done with the work that you do with the veterans football side who paraded the trophy at half time. I don't know if any listeners saw that. There was like a British Legion flag and a Union flag with a parade of the boys who won the was it a Premier League fans tournament, Alex, up at Lilleshall, the FA Centre of Excellence, and the Millwall veterans side won it. So well done for all that you do via the Lions Centre next door for those those military veterans that we approve of so much at the Den. What a contrast with Tuesday night, wasn't it, dear listeners? Talk about one extreme to the other. I must admit I feared what we were going to see when I rolled up on Saturday, and I wasn't expecting the kind of show that we got. I know it was going to be a first choice 11, but the 11 that we saw on Tuesday that was so under par versus Orient at home, they weren't that far away from the first team, those players. So to see such a drab performance, I must admit I walked down Ilderton Road fearing the worst. I don't know if I'm being, it's a confessional with you, dear listeners. I feel a bit like I'm, in the priest's booth, and you're my father confessors and lady confessors out there. So I must admit, I came down there with low expectations, but we served up a great performance. It was a really enjoyable game. I mean, we don't ever approach these fixtures as neutrals, do we, listeners? But I'm sure, like the 3-2 loss to Watford and the 3-4 loss at Bristol City, I'm sure if you were a neutral, you'd have enjoyed yourself. Certainly would have enjoyed yourself Saturday. As for the goals, I mean, each one in a way, Alex, and I don't know if you agree with me, dear listeners out there, we got good crosses in, which we've kind of been doing to some level this season, but we had some attacking presence with Josh Coburn, creating the kind of space around him for others like Watmore, like Honeyman, like even Essay to some extent, to find those, I'm going to use a cliche, I apologise, those little pockets of space. I sound like Gary Rowett now. I've caught Rowett's condition. But a bit more attacking presence, and that's been the magic ingredient. What a laugh with Mihailo Ivanovic, club record signing, only to be announced later the same day that he's got a busted metatarsal, so he won't be around for a couple of months. That is the most Millwall signing of all, but I'm hopeful that he will also fit into this pattern. It was good, strong, attacking, direct football, exactly how we like to see it. No ticky-tack farting around on Saturday, and that, for me, dear listeners, is what it's all about for Millwall. Big shout out to Casper Denor. Good call there, Alex. One of those underrated players. He's the kind of player I think that will get under the radar a little bit, but he's got really good passing ability, and those stats talk for themselves that you've just mentioned. So Casper Denor, big shout out to Casper. So thank you to Alex. We're going to go now with Ben Anthony. Let's talk to Ben.
Hello, Nick. Hello, listeners. Ben Anthony calling in after the 3-0 win over Sheffield Wednesday. A much-needed win. Didn't we need that, everybody? We said the other day we've been unlucky this season not to have more points. I think even Harris said it the other day. He said we should have between 5 and 7. And it was nice to just see our performances actually come to fruition. The first half, I thought we played really well, and it was the same old thing of we were just lacking in that final product. But the second half, we really sparked into life. It was refreshing to have the striker up front who, was the big man, who was able to handle the balls up to him, but also actually had, good capabilities with his feet. And had really good impact on the game. And I felt like we grew into it, and I felt like we were by far the better team and well deserving of the win. The man of the match went to Josh Coburn in the ground. I personally felt Duncan Watmore was absolutely excellent and was probably my man of the match, but I can't really complain about Josh Coburn being awarded it. I thought he had a fantastic debut. I feel a little bit for Macaulay Langstaff just because he must have thought he was going to get his chance to start the game, but it'll come for him. He needs a bit of time, and I think it'll come good. So a really, really good performance, good game, and we got to go again after the international break. On terms of the transfers a little bit, it seems like this new Serbian bloke is injured, so we're not going to see him for a little while. That's typical Millwall. But we've said for a long time that Millwall need to be a selling club. They need to be able to sell their assets for profit, and that's how we can be a bit more sustainable. And that's exactly what we've done with Zian Fleming, and I think that's the right move. I think we've made the right call. Last year, I know it was reported, I think we turned down an £8 million bid, and we've sold him for 7 this year. So we paid $1 million to keep him for last season. He was, I think, our top scorer last season. So that was a sensible decision, I think. And we've still got a healthy profit out of him. And that's the sort of thing we need to be doing. We've reinvested it this transfer window, and hopefully some of these players we've bought who are young, who are prospects, we can then in a couple of years' time sell again for good profit, and we keep going. And that's the sort of Brentford model that we need to be following, and that seems to be the best path for our sort of long-term sustainability. So I'm looking at the positives of the Fleming sale, and I think the squad looks much healthier, and fair play to the chairman and to Neil Harris and to Gallen, who obviously has had quite a lot of stick, but they've delivered. Let's just hope the players can now deliver. All right, speak to you after the international break.
Thank you, Ben. Yeah, the Brentford model is the way that we have to go, dear listeners. There's no other route for us. I've also written down Brighton and Bournemouth as like a seaside, maybe a seaside model. I don't know whether the Brentford model is it. I know they've all had big financial backing, each of those clubs, but each have been in the depths as well in their time. So it's the journey we want to make, and we have to make it, dear listeners, by being ruthless. And the ruthlessness part doesn't come naturally to us. It's a strange truth that as much as Millwall has this rumbustious reputation as a club, we do tend to be sentimental as well. And the selling of Zian Fleming really hurt. I mean, I'm not immune to this myself. I mean, it's easy to sit behind a microphone and say we've got to be ruthless, we've got to do this, we've got to do that. It hurts when you're selling your best players, and he was our best player for some time, top scorer, and the numbers do their talking in his case. And to see him dressed up in claret and blue, that is like dagger to the heart, isn't it? But we have to step back and be realistic. Saturday's 3-0 win really helped the kill the pain. It's like an aspirin with a headache. It takes it away from you, because there is a sign of a really good style of play at the Den now. I love the way we played on Saturday. Movement, passing, we won't be able to reproduce that in every single game, but that's the format that we're going to follow. Movement and space opening up, players running into wide positions and then finding others in more attacking situations. Love it. That's what I want to see at the Den. I don't ask for Pep Guardiola's tiki-taki. I want to see fast attacking football, and in the end you'll win some and you'll lose some, but hopefully you'll win more than you lose. So yeah, I go with that business model, Ben. And of course it begs the need to reinvest it. Of course it is. That's what I would call the philosophy of being a selling club. It's the only philosophy that really works for anyone apart from maybe Real Madrid and I don't know, someone backed by an oil-rich state or something. I don't know. But first win of the season. Yes, we have indeed been unlucky so far, but. Anyway, let's move along now. Big thank you to Ben. We're going to take a very, very short advertising break, and I'll be back after that with Chicago Joe and David Liederkramer.
Achtung, Millwall.
Newsflash, you can lose weight like a celebrity without being a celebrity. New Glucotrim from GNC delivers serious results with a proven formula that features ingredients derived from nature, like berberine. And the best part? You don't need a crazy expensive prescription. Glucotrim works with your body to support healthy blood sugar and protect lean muscle mass, unlike other products out there. And did I mention it's caffeine-free? So if you want real results, get on that celebrity weight loss level with new Glucotrim. Get it at GNC.
Ask your doctor about Air Supra, albuterol budesonide. Eligible patients can pay as little as $0 per inhaler, subject to eligibility rules and maximum savings limits. Restrictions may apply. Visit airsuprasavings.com to learn more.
When it comes to towing, seeing is believing. That's why Chevy Truck's advanced camera technology offers up to 8 available cameras for 14 unique views, so you can focus on the view that really matters. Chevrolet, together let's drive. Learn more about Chevy Trucks at Chevy.com. Safety or driver assistance features are no substitute for the driver's responsibility to operate the vehicle in a safe manner. Read the Vehicle Owner's Manual for important feature limitations and information.
Hello. Joe from Chicago. What a day. What a performance. Just what you need against a shit-ass Sheffield Wednesday side. Josh Coburn, that's a big fucking hold-up player. Kind of nice to see. He seems very clumsy. He had that one ball at his feet on the breakaway that was tough to watch, but at least the dude creates havoc. I like to see it. He's a big fella. I can't wait to see him and Ivanovic together. Even though I'm not really sure how many minutes Ivanovic is going to get, could be a real pain in the ass for defenders. So that's going to be fun. Gotta like those 3 goals. All very easy, all in front of goal. Something we haven't really seen that much recently. It's just good football to see. Can't lie. Pretty thrilled. Love going into the international break with the good results. Come on, you Lions.
Morning, Nick. David Liederkramer here. After what was a fantastic performance against Sheffield Wednesday, I was particularly pleased. My son came over from Singapore. He hasn't been to a match for 7 years, and my grandson had never been to a Millwall game. I was just really happy that we scored a goal at the beginning because we could all celebrate together. But to win 3-0 was brilliant. It was a terrific performance, no question about it. And Coburn makes all the difference. The bizarre thing from my perspective is that we've been playing that kind of game for a while now, in the sense that we've been pushing the ball up and using or trying to get the ball to a central striker, but we've just not really had one. Bradshaw is 5'8". Langstaff clearly isn't that sort of player. And finally we get a player like Coburn and look at the difference. We actually look a much better team. But quite apart from that, there were fantastic performances all around the park. I mean, Esse, brilliant touches, terrific player. And Fleming's departure means that I think he's actually got a real chance to show what he can do in a consistent way, playing every week. I don't know what on earth has happened to Duncan Watmore. Maybe it's the haircut, because he played brilliantly. and to score 4 goals when last season he's played 34 matches and he scored 4 goals the whole season is incredible. Coburn's debut, excellent, as I've said. Denor had a great game, probably his best game in a Millwall shirt. It's hard to be critical of anybody, really. In fact, most unusual not to have some player that you think hasn't really performed. Obviously, the news about Ivanovic's injury was a bit of a dampener, but he's only going to be out effectively for 4 weeks because there's 2 international breaks, and if he's a decent player, then we've got somebody who can challenge Coburn, and indeed is our own player rather than a loanee. So all in all, a terrific afternoon for me personally and for the team. Delighted to be able to celebrate a great victory, and onwards to the next one. Come on, you Lions.
Huge welcome back to David's son from Singapore and his grandson. Big gamble taking your boy to the Den, David. It can't always guarantee goals nor entertainment when you think back to some of the mares of performances we've seen. So well done. Congratulations to you all for that. Make you right about Duncan Watmore. Who knows what's happened to him? I know Keith Richards used to have a blood transfusion, allegedly. It's one of those myths, isn't it? Before a Rolling Stones tour. I do wonder whether we've done a similar kind of Keith Richards blood transfusion with Duncan Watmore over the course of the summertime at the Calmont Road Butchery. The Ivanovic thing is. I mean, I'm going to try and be serious about it because obviously there's high humour in Mills signing up a player with a broken metatarsal. Was that in your toe? Anyway, a broken bone. I do think that he should be coming good from Christmas onwards. Then, if all goes to plan and God willing and all that kind of stuff. So it will be cliche time now, listeners. It will be like having a new signing in the from the Christmas onwards, won't it? And I am intrigued to see what kind of partnership Neil teams him up with. Will we go 2 strikers? Because from what we've seen of Josh Coburn, as ungainly as he looked a little bit, and that was the feedback that I had from my my Middlesbrough network of spies and narcs, that he's not the most elegant of players, but it'll do for us because he gave us real attacking presence on Saturday. And can you imagine if this Serbian kid is good? All the indications are that he is good, that he scores goals in Serb football, and he comes from a country that has produced some high class players in their time. So all of those ingredients are the right ingredients. A double act for the second half of the season. I might be getting well carried away, listeners, but I've had enough of being miserable. I've had enough of misery, so I'm going to dream, David, of an Ivanovic and Coburn duo up front after Christmas, with Macaulay Culkin coming in, Macaulay Langstaff coming in as a kind of like a goal-scoring poacher should one of them feel the pace a little bit. Anyway, that's my dream. And a push on up the table after Christmas. Let's see, dear listeners. As Joe said, he creates havoc, Coburn, and that's good enough for me. So big thank you to Joe and to David there. We're going to have Jim Hackett and then Matt Webb.
Good morning, Nick. Hopefully a better morning for you this week than it was last week. I'm sure you've got 1 or 2 messages coming in that are a bit more lively, they're more flattering than they were after Tuesday night. Well, yesterday, I think, watching it, it wasn't comfortable because we just needed to get the first goal. But once we got the first goal, I thought we played excellently. It didn't drop off, still kept harassing them. And overall, I think, well, there's no doubt we were deserved winners. And it was just a good team performance. I think if you look at the team, Jensen now, all of a sudden, he looks a different keeper. When he caught that one from the corner towards the end, you could just see the confidence coming out of him. So obviously it looks like we've got a keeper there, and long may it last. The back four, my only sort of comment about the back four, I thought they all played well, but I thought Tanganga was a little bit loose at times. I thought he sort of rushed into a couple of challenges. I don't know if that's rustiness or just him trying to be a better player possibly than he could be. But that was not annoying because he played quite well, but it's just something that we hadn't seen before, or I hadn't seen before anyway. But everybody else, Brian played well, Cooper even played well. He's still got a habit of not having quick feet, so he can be run at. And I think early on in the first half, they used that area between Cooper and Brian where they tried to get in and knew that Brian can't defend very well and Cooper doesn't have the pace, but it sort of got snuffed out by the two in the middle. And from sort of 20 minutes in, I thought we were much the better side and carried on like that. Then you go into the midfield, and I thought Casper Denor was immense yesterday. He's always been a good player. I've liked him since he come to the club, but yesterday I thought he really grabbed the game, and every time he needed to make a tackle, he was there. Every time the ball was going loose anywhere, he was straight to it. And his passing yesterday was fantastic. So, very happy for him. And Sav showed a little bit more urgency than he had done on Tuesday night. So, as long as he can keep doing that, I think we'll be fine. But he's an old head now, isn't he, on old shoulders. So, that what he does is very good. It's whether he can keep going. I thought maybe he was going to run out of steam at one point, but he seemed to have a second wind and kept going. And our wide players yesterday, Esse, I think he's a fixture now. Whether he plays there or he plays inside, I think he's in the team week in, week out, because you can just see he's grown into it. He's suddenly a man in a man's game, and he's doing little things that the rest of the players can't. So he gets people off the seats and just waiting for something to happen. So again, he's becoming a massive plus, and obviously he's got his new contract, which suits everybody. And on the other side, what more? I don't know what you can say about him. He from last season to this season is another player. Not only sort of can he defend, but he goes forward, and when he goes forward, he takes players with him and creates lots of space. So again, getting his goal, so he's up there with the top scorers in the Championship. So again, very happy with him. And then we go forward. Honeyman, for all the slagging and the people questioning him, you can't question his desire. You can't question, his 110% for the cause. He just gets everywhere. And I think when you look at him and Fleming, he might not have Fleming's skills and ability to create something out of nothing, but when you've got a lad who can drop into the midfield and help those two in the midfield and still be there supporting the striker, I think he's a diamond for us, Honeyman. And I just hope that people don't get on his back, or continue to get on his back, because I think he's something that's good for us. And the longer he plays, the better he gets with it. And then we come to our debut boy, Josh Coburn. Well, what a difference a target man makes. He occupies defenders. The ball can go in the air. He might not win too many of them either, but what he does do, his work rate was good. I don't think we missed Bradshaw at all yesterday. I thought the way we played, and Coburn did his bit in it. He was happy to track back if he needed to, but he's a young lad, and hopefully he'll get better and stronger and keep doing what he was doing. He deserved his goal just by being in the right place at the right time, and then to get the assist as well. I think it's icing on the cake. So overall, I think it's a good 3 points, obviously, because we needed that to get our season going. Good for the team, good for the squad. I do think that all the new players coming in sort of reinvigorated the squad slightly, because suddenly there's a better feel. There's a better feel that we got players on the bench who can come on and make a difference, and our time when they're playing will come. But at the moment, I don't think he needs to make too many changes. Obviously, we've got 5 or 6 new players come in just in the last week, and I think it's brilliant for us because our squad looks so much better now. And then obviously some of our older heads will go out at different times, but overall very happy with that 3-0 win, and deserved 3-0 win as well. If I'm going to sort of be critical anywhere, I think back to Tanganga, and it's a question I suppose that doesn't need asking, but I'm going to ask it anyway, is I just wonder whether he should be our captain now, whether it's worth giving him the armband so that it sort of gives him that sense of importance that he's got to lead people and, if you like, play the way he plays. It will take some heat off Cooper, but Tanganga's going to get a game every week, and he is a leader of men. You can see the way he is, so I think it might just help things, but maybe that's a question for the future. But overall, very happy with yesterday. We go into the international break, and I think everybody will spend the next 2 weeks enjoying themselves because of that result. So, fantastic result, Millwall. Come on, you Lions.
Hi Nick, Matt Webb here, with my voice note contribution from yesterday's very good win against Sheffield Wednesday. I think the word comes to mind for result and performance is, in my opinion, faultless. I don't think there was no one out there you could say that had a bad game. I think the performance was really good, and made Sheffield Wednesday look really ordinary. Now I think Sheffield Wednesday are better this season compared to last, but on that account yesterday they looked like they were in deep trouble. But I think that's more on us really, on showing the grit and the determination and the effort that each player put in during that game. What do you reckon it is that has made it a sudden switch to play like that? I think it's the fact that we've got all these new players in, and actually there are players on that pitch that realise that there is some healthy competition now. I'll take, for instance, you've got Joe Bryan, who I think yesterday arguably probably had his best game so far this season. But waiting in the wings, you've got some young starlet from Liverpool, Scanlon, waiting to take his spot. So I think that's a bit of a reality check for him, a kick up the arse, so to speak, and he puts in a shift like that. And then you've got the midfield, which you cannot fault both Saville or Dinour yesterday. I think Dinour was unbelievable yesterday, I must admit. But again, waiting in the wings, you've got we've got the Wintle from Cardiff and Kelly from Celtic just on the bench. So I do believe having a stronger bench and having good healthy competition really does give those players a little bit more oomph. I've been banging the door about this 4-2-3-1 setup, and yes, I keep on saying I'm the two up top person, and yesterday that formation actually worked with Josh Coburn up front and the players behind him actually pulling in efforts. It does work. I mean, I never said it didn't work, but it does work if the three behind the one contribute to things like goal scoring. And when you've got SA and you've got Watmore behind you, you're guaranteed to have that effort, have that as well, like the goals. And as for Coburn himself, he was unbelievable. You know, you see a big man up front, automatically you think, he's just going to win headers. But you know what? He's actually really good with his feet as well, and he's quite skillful. And I know that classic saying of you never fall in love with a loanee. And so it's. But hopefully, I don't know if it was a loan with an option. But it's a good way to impress the Millwall faithful. That's for certain on your debut. As I said, a faultless performance yesterday. I'm glad that Jensen, another cleano. I was hoping that would stay out as a 0, and I'm glad it did. And hats off to everyone. And I'll raise a glass to say well done. I don't know about you, Nick, but I feel, and this is just an opinion, and it's not a bad thing, okay? And it's George Honeyman. I like him, and I like his efforts and his dogged determination. But where do I see him? Do I see him in the 2, or do I see him in the 3 behind the 1? I just think if he's going to go with that 3 behind the 1, he needs to start contributing more with goals, like Watmore is doing and what SA's doing. So, potentially it might be a case of we're just trying to fit him in at the moment because of the fact that Saville and Dinour are playing really well at the moment. I don't know. It's just something that I was just looking and reflecting on yesterday's game. But again, faultless yesterday. I think SA was unbelievable again yesterday. They couldn't handle him, and hopefully with Mr. Fleming gone and him signing a long-term contract, that's the Remain SA that we're going to see more often this season. So it's nice to go into the international break on a positive with a win. If you're looking up, we're only 3 points off the playoffs now. But we've got a few games coming up now which are winnable. I mean, Luton at the moment are not doing too great, so that'd be a nice good opportunity to bag another few points. And then after that we've got QPR away, which that can touch and go. We could get a result from now And so yeah, it's quite, let's start looking up now. Let's see what this team now that we've got. The new players can come in and actually gel a lot more with the rest of the boys. And we've had the doom and gloom of myself at the moment is out of the way. Whether that lasts is another story. But happy fan here and happy voice note. So enjoy your international break. Try and find a non-league game maybe next Saturday, because it will be non-league day, and come on your lines.
Yeah, seconded to the non-league day, Matt. I might try and amble over to Cray Wanderers. Depends on the Blackwall Tunnel, dear listeners. It's a mare. I'm on the dark side of the of Mordor, and got to come southwards. So if the tunnel's not right, I might not. But anyway, we'll decide that Saturday. It's funny, Matt. Both Matt and Jim before him mentioned in different ways George Honeyman. It's funny how players divide opinion. I'm very much with Jim. I think George Honeyman's industry and the fact that I think I even said in the in-game thing that I did in the other show, how he's always showing for the ball. He's never not around. He's always buzzing around in midfield. He doesn't go missing. I can see how, for sure he's not inspirational like, say, to some extent Zian Fleming was, like Romain Esse certainly is. He can't do the unexpected stuff, the artistic merit stuff, the stuff that gets you on the edge of your seat. He's not that kind of player. But what he is a very hard-working grind of a player. And I mean that in a positive sense, because that's what managers look for. I'm sure if you're in a tight spot in midfield and you're looking to release a ball, there's always going to be George Honeyman that's going to be in and around wherever you are. He's that kind of player. It reminds me in a way of Jimmy Abdou, in that endlessly kind of running, not the most skillful player, not the most incisive of passers, but someone that's always going to be available, is always going to get you out of a hole, that will always be there doing the clean-up work, and, it's just always active. I can see how George Honeyman has made such a career in the game. He was the Hull City's player of the season in the lockdown season, and came through the Sunderland ranks. I've met him, as listeners will probably know. I did a Wall Talk interview with him. He's a nice guy. Now, that's not the driving factor in whether you get picked for a team or not, but I think he's someone with a realistic view of himself and what he brings to a side. And I can see why managers go for him. They favour... It's almost a David Livermore kind of pick, isn't it? No one's ever going to say, when you're a little boy, I always wanted to be David Livermore when I grew up. But you can see how they form essential elements, water carrying in the team. It's a Didier Deschamps as a player, that kind of... the person does the running and the hard work, whilst the Eric Cantonars lounge around reading 15th century Italian poetry and all that kind of stuff. Listeners, we're going to take a short advertising break, and then we'll be back with Bobby T and Rob Abbott.
Hi, we're Big Little Feelings.
You know what else is big and little? Batteries.
Big energy.
Little size, and they go in everything.
So we switched to the world's first 3-in-1 Child Shield by Energizer.
It's the only coin lithium battery that has 3 safety features designed to help protect kids.
Secure packaging,
a bitter coating to help discourage swallowing, and an exclusive color alert technology that turns mouths blue when it comes into contact with saliva.
To learn more, visit Energizer.com.
Since 1979, TireRack.com has been helping people find the right tires for how, what, and where they drive. They sell only the best, like the full line of BF Goodrich tires. Test results, ratings, and reviews are there to assist. Or try the Tire Decision Guide to get a personalized tire recommendation. Tires ship fast and free to you or to one of over 10,000 recommended installers. In many areas, they offer mobile tire installation. Shop BF Goodrich tires at TireRack.com.
I've got Dan Morgan here on the pod. Say hi, Dan.
Hey, how's it going today?
It's going good, man. Tell us who you are and what you do.
I'm Dan Morgan. I'm an attorney and a managing partner at Morgan & Morgan, which is America's largest injury law firm.
That's pretty awesome. I think I saw a billboard of yours recently that said 20 billion won. 20 billion is an insane number.
Yeah, 20 billion recovered. It's actually, I think, somewhere north, probably closer to 22, 23 after this year. And each year we get bigger and badder and our army grows. So the number will hopefully keep getting bigger and bigger as time goes on.
Awesome. So how does someone get in contact with Morgan & Morgan? What would I do if I got into an accident?
Probably the easiest way is dialing pound law. That's pound 529 from your cell phone. We are always open. Our call center is always waiting to take your call. 24/7, 365.
Wow. Dan Morgan from Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. Thanks for coming by the show.
Thanks for having me. Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Achtung, Millwall.
Good morning, Nick Hart, Bobby T here. Hope all is well. I'm on the way to the den now. I mean, this is my little preview match for the Millwall versus Sheffield Wednesday. For me, it just feels like, yeah, it's a cup final, and yeah, it's a must-win. But it just feels like end of season, like, you know, the tension, like just to get our first win, basically. Like this time last season, I don't know, Middlesbrough away 1-0, then we faltered a bit. So even if we get a draw today, and there's no negative on here anymore, I'm usually negative, I'm usually angry. But on the way to the den, hopefully it's going to be a good one. The big serve came in late last night. But here's my lineup today and my prediction. Well, not prediction, but here's my lineup, what I think Harris should do. So I'm thinking Jensen in goal. Left back has to be obviously Joe Bryan. Scalcon's not ready. So my back four will be Joe Bryan, Cooper and Tatanga. And I think Ryan Leonard, not Danny Mack, sorry, Ryan Leonard. And the midfield for me is Casper. Danny Kelly's too young. Casper and Saville. On the left, Watmore. On the right, Aziz. Up front should be 4-4-2, Nick. 4-4-2. And I'm thinking basically, yes, Coburn and Langstaff. Bye for now. Nick Hart, Bobby T here, my half-time analysis. Leonard, what a cross. We're playing well. Hanneman, not bad tackling. I wouldn't have chose Hanneman. But not two bad teams, but Leonard, what a crispy, lovely cross, mate. Josh Coburn is the new Chris Wood, basically. I think he's doing really, really well, but he'll probably score and then we've got to sell him on, or we probably can't afford him, basically. But Josh Coburn really excites me. Watmore, great player going forward. Tatanga has got to be careful now. And the keeper worries me. He's a bit suspect, a bit fragile, Jensen. But two teams going for this win. Hopefully Millwall can do it. But yeah, Casper, different kettle of fish. Him and Saville, yeah. 0-0 half time. I think I can see you in the corner, Nick Hart. Is that you in the top of the clouds in the old black t-shirt, mate? But anyway, Nick Hart, half time. Got to win this. Langstaff, I don't know. I like Josh Coburn, but he's got to play 4-4-2. The formation at the moment is good stuff. Great half. No, I wouldn't say great half Millwall, but end to end, we've got to win this, Nick. Bye for now. Bobby T, half time. Personally, Nick Hart, I would love to see Ivanovic and Coburn together, 4-4-2. That'd be two strikers up front, young and hungry. That'd be amazing. Bye for now. We've got to win this, Nick. Take care, Bobby T. Nick Hart, Bobby T. Fucking hell, there you go. I did say Harris in, out, whatever, out. That's where he walks and all that. I take that back. He's a legend. Love him. He's the Millwall way. Man of the match for me is not Josh Coburn. It's fucking Saville or Watmore. Watmore's been our player for the last 3 games. Amazing. Great result. Leonard, solid display. Millwall till I die. 3-0. Great result. Bye for now. Achtung Millwall. Nick Hart, Bobby T here. It's not about negative, but how the fuck the club have not told us fucking the big Serb, Milan Iver, whatever his name is, yeah, before kickoff, is out for 8 weeks, broken metatarsal. Why the club get that quiet? I'm fucking fuming in a way. Thank God we've got Josh Coburn. Take care, Nick. All the best. Mill will always fucking let us down. We won, but now we've got to wait for the big Serb. Take care, Nick Hart. Bye for now, Bobby T. Achtung Millwall, the best. Hold on, Nick Hart. So Millwall must have known, because that's why it kept so late. The medical, he had no medical, basically, because they knew he had the injury. Why did Millwall keep that quiet? Fucking naughty Millwall, mate. Take care. Bye for now.
Excellent stuff by Bobby. Big thank you, Bob, for those messages, mate. 4-4-2 be interesting once Ivanovic is fit. It's an odd signing. It's a very Millwall signing. I'm hoping that he'll be ready and fit to go maybe from 2 months. It takes us to kind of November, really, time he's done his fitness work and got himself up to speed. Maybe we'll start to see him in the end of November, December, perhaps. I don't know. I would like to see 4-4-2. Who wouldn't out there, Bob? But of course, your starting 11 creates the problem. Where do you put Essay into that at 4-4-2? So I don't think Harris is going to go for that. I think he'll probably stick with variations around the 4-2-3-1, which we can talk about. But new Chris Wood, that's a good one. I'm going to nick that line, Bob. That's a nice one. Incidentally, listeners, I've got to confess to you, I was done over like a kipper this morning. There was a brief flurry of a Twitter meltdown. The club had put out a video from Saturday of the end of the game of Neil Harris going around doing a kind of a Jurgen Klopp style badge punching kind of routine to the crowd to show his appreciation for the support, which is pretty good, I thought, on Saturday. And this was being misread, a bit like any of the older listeners might remember the olden days of the Soviet Union, where great import will be read into one different word in a press release from the Moscow Politburo or something, where somebody's was in favour or out favour based on the wording of one sentence, or whether they'd used a photograph of them or not. And a lot of people had read into this fist pumping. I don't know what I'm showing the microphone what he was doing. He was basically banging his chest, a bit like Wolf of Wall Street, where he does that kind of Native American that bit. Do you know what I'm talking about, listeners? I hope you do. And from that, people had read the runes and said that Neil Harris had gone. I got caught up in this hysteria, the great fear, mysteria that Neil Harris had actually walked out the door, and it turned out somebody had reposted the last time he left us in 2019, and that they'd reposted it for a laugh. So if that was you, dear listener, that did that, well, I hope that you choke on your cornflakes this morning. It had me going, had me done like a lemon, dear listeners. Anyway, big thank you to Bob. I was going to run Rob Abbott. I'm going to run Rob now. Thank you to Bobby T for his stuff too. So let's listen now. We're going to finish the show now with Rob Abbott.
Evening, Nick. Rob Abbott here. Wow, what a performance. For 90 minutes, I thought we were brilliant. Everyone contributed as well. 2 clean sheets in a row for Jensen. Back 4, very, very solid. Didn't look troubled at all. Tanganga, I said last year when he came in, is a different level, and he just makes everyone else look better and play better as well. Casper in midfield ran the show there. His best game for a long time. Georgie next to him, decent game. Essay and Watmore out wide, absolute brilliant. The 2 of them started the season well. Let's hope they continue it. Watmore 4 in 4 games now, and Essay is just getting better week by week. Best bit of business in the transfer window was him signing a longer contract, because if he carries on in the summer, we're getting 10 million for him. Honeyman, very good today. I know he's energy, and he wins the ball back. He presses well, but I thought he was excellent on the ball. And then obviously to top it off, Coburn up top on debut, 1 goal, 1 assist, reminding me of Richie Sadler. But amazing performance. Let's hope it continues. I'd like to say that we've got some depth on the bench as well, so Casper and Saville have to up it, because Kelly wants their positions, Wintour wants their positions, then Aziz potentially on the wing, Amaku, Langstaff, these guys all want to start, and albeit midweek it was absolutely terrible, they've bounced back and performed where it matters the most in the league, so let's hope it continues. Last thing I just want to touch on is our transfer dealings. I think it's brilliant that we've sold Fleming for that amount of money. Great investment. We bought him for 1.7 million, 2 seasons. He's been good for us, 23 goals, 9 assists, but to take a 5 million plus profit on him, that's great business for a club of our size, and that's the way I think we need to go in the future. And you can see we're we're buying younger players now, which is good. More energy in the team, more potential resale value. It's the Brentford model. It's worked for them. It's worked for other clubs, Brighton. So we've got to go that way. But yeah, hopefully all is well. Have a great Saturday evening and chat with you soon. Come on, you Lions.
Cheers, Rob. Yeah, nice problem to have. Player selection, competition for places. I think it was Matt already mentioned the improvement in Joe Bryan's performance now that we've got Callum Scanlon competing with him, and I suppose to some extent even Murray Wallace is competing for the left back position. So yeah, the competition for places is going to create interesting dynamics in the team, all to the benefit of the side, and a nice problem for the manager Neil Harris to have. So all in all, an excellent day. Now, as I said at the start of this show, this is only part one of the voicemail show. I will be back later this afternoon speaking with Merv. If your contribution is not in this show, it'll be in the other show, contributors. If you want to be a contributor to Achtung, I'd really welcome. I'd try my best to fit everybody in that I can on the show. So your efforts will never be wasted. But do hit me up on X. Did you catch that kid-style talk there, listeners? Hit me up on X. You can direct message me. You can send me a voice note on X. There's a facility on direct messages to send voice notes, and I can record those. One or two of the messages we've had on this show have been via X. So that's one way to do it, at Achtung Millwall on Twitter, /X. If you prefer, send us your mobile number. We can exchange mobile numbers, and you can just send me a voice note via WhatsApp. That's also good. So whatever method floats your boat. So it'd be great to get as many different views as we can on the show. I love doing these voice note shows. They are the gin in the vermouth in my gin, whatever the expression is. Just also want to mention a charity walk that Bill Slack and I are going to do on October the 14th. Now, we're going to be going dressed up in West Ham gear, dear listeners. This is in aid of a terrific cause. It's one that Bill pointed me at the other day. It's a young West Ham goalkeeper who's in their under-14 youth side, and he's sadly suffering with brain cancer, Oscar Fairs. There's a link on my X account to the GoFundMe. It's nothing to do with me. It's the family have set up this GoFundMe to try and fund breaking treatment in France for brain cancer. There's a picture of the poor boy in his hospital bed on the GoFundMe page. So Bill and I, as an effort to try and raise funds for this excellent cause, have offered to walk from the Den via Coldblow Lane and then through the old Isle of Dogs sites. We're going to try and touch each of the stadium sites en route for the London Stadium in Stratford, and that's going to be done on probably on the morning of Sunday the 14th of October. And furthermore, we're going to do it wearing claret and blue, dear listeners. There seems to be a big demand amongst West Ham, the fraternity, to see Millwall fans dressed up in their club colours, because the appeal was at 64,000. I think the target was 100,000 when I looked the other day when I put this online, and now it's gone over to nearly 115,000, which is fantastic, over target. So, but do keep any donations that you can would be very welcome, no matter how small, because as we found with the Isle of Caton appeal when we did that, the nature of this condition is that families invariably need a lot more money than they think they do to fund these kinds of new treatments, possibly unproven treatments. I don't know enough about it. But anyway, I will stick a link in the show notes for this show. Bill and I will be walking the streets of Bermondsey dressed in claret and blue. So for that, any contributions are very welcome. So big thank you. So big shout out to Oscar. And we will be back later on today, dear listeners. I'm going to be speaking to Merv Payne later with the remainder of the voice notes. But until the next edition of Achtung Millwall, it's a much happier, jollier, upbeat affair today. So until the next edition later on today, probably, from me, Nick Hart, it's thank you for listening, and Arrivederci Millwall, and bye for now.
podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.